How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes, and for this video you find me sitting in the 2023 Chevrolet Equinox in Premier trim with all-wheel drive. This model that Chevy has loaned me for the week is finished in the sterling gray metallic paint, and it has the jet black and maple sugar interior. With all of the included packages and delivery, you can get the spec for $38,860. And in this video, I want to give you my likes and dislikes about this compact crossover and also give you my personal rating of the exterior, interior, technology, power, and overall driving experience. And in the end, I'm going to give you my overall rating of what I think of the Chevy Equinox so that you have a better idea before you buy. Let's get this review started with the exterior first. This 2023 Chevy Equinox, in all of its salty goodness, looks pretty much unchanged from the revised 2022 version. The front end resembles its bigger brother, the Traverse, giving this compact SUV a taller and beefier presence. The LED headlights are great and they output a ton of light for great visibility at night. And I love how it's standard even at the lowest LS trim. This being the Premier trim, you'll also find some fog lights, giving it a more complete look. The profile of the Equinox fits that crossover template, which means a so-so ground clearance of 6.9 inches, a decent seating position, and plenty of headroom. This Equinox Premier also comes with the roof-mounted rails and the 18-inch wheels. And out back, the Equinox has a blacked-out D-pillar to give that wraparound glass illusion. There's LED tail lamps and a hands-free power liftgate with a Chevy bowtie projection on the ground. That's to show you where you can kick around to open the liftgate. Design-wise, this is one of the most boring-looking crossovers out there. If you were a director and you were filming a car commercial for that next sexy crossover, you would buy this Equinox and put it in the background to make your car look better. And you'd probably find this Equinox in a safe shade of white or this gray. This is my personal opinion, of course, so please tell me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I'm going to give the exterior design of this Chevy Equinox a 5 out of 10. This is a very average styled SUV that's made to blend in with traffic. And there are so many crossovers in the field right now, and they all have their own unique design and character. This Equinox looks devoid of any personality. It does get better inside, and let's talk about the interior next, because this Premier trim actually looks quite nice. This is clearly the nicest Equinox out of all of the other trims. The tan contrasting the black adds a touch of luxury, and the textures feel good. It all feels like a more premium crossover. This tester unit that Chevy has loaned me comes with a few really nice packages. As part of the confidence and convenience package, you'll get some power adjustable seats with heating and ventilation. The steering wheel is a nice compact size with a pretty comfortable 9 and 3 position. I love how there's seek and volume buttons on the back of the steering wheel. This is just like the vehicles you can find under the Stellantis brand like Dodge and Jeep. This Premier trim comes with a heated steering wheel as well, and I love how the actual button is on the steering wheel itself rather than somewhere on the dash. As for the center console, this has a nice touchscreen, and I'll talk about that more later in the technology section. And right below that, there's a series of physical buttons and a volume knob. And if Chevy's listening, I wish there was a simple ledge right below the screen so you can rest your finger on it so that you could easily use the touchscreen. Moving further down, you'll find the auto start stop and the hazard lights button, and then there's the HVAC set of buttons. My one tiny complaint here is that they are tightly clustered together, so if you're not looking, you'll probably press the wrong button. The rest of the front row is pretty standard for a compact crossover. Good seating position, nice tilt and telescoping steering wheel, and a good overall placement of the armrest, gear shifter, and cup holders. And when you're shifting gears, whatever you have in the cup holder won't get in the way. For the second row, I think your passengers are going to like it here because there's a lot of legroom at 39.9 inches. The outboard seats are also heated, and there's several plugs back there for your USB and other devices. This is still a compact crossover size, so it's going to be a bit tight with 3 adults, as the rear hip room is at 51.7 inches. The view does get pretty awesome back here, as this tester comes with a $1,500 panoramic sunroof. Moving to the cargo space, once you open the liftgate, you'll find a decently sized 29.9 cubic feet of space. Fold the 60/40 split second row, and that cargo space goes up to a fairly roomy 63.9 cubic feet. So I'm giving the interior a rating of 8 out of 10 because I think Chevy has smartly packaged everything within this tight, compact crossover envelope. This Equinox is going to be a good place to be when you're stuck on a long road trip or doing your normal commutes. Next, let's talk about the technology in the Chevy Equinox, and it centers around this 8-inch touchscreen. This infotainment system is running on the Chevrolet Infotainment 3 Plus unit, and it has a built-in navigation. The experience is very smooth, just like your smartphone. And I like GM's infotainment system because it's laid out in a simple and clear manner, that it's very easy to find everything. I also love how this infotainment unit comes with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And that's even available in the cheapest LS trim. And to keep the overall experience wireless, there's also a wireless charger in this Premier trim. But if you do want to plug in, there's a bunch of USB plugs in this car. There's a USB-C and a standard USB up here, and there's 2 USB plugs in the center console and 2 more USB plugs in the second row. Safety-wise, this tester has a lot of features. Standard on all Equinox are the lane keeping assist with lane departure warning, forward collision alert, and automatic emergency braking, just to name a few. There's also a blind spot monitoring system, rear cross traffic alert, and adaptive cruise control in this unit. And to make sure that you pay attention to all of those warnings, you can even set the driver's seat to vibrate all of those warnings for you. As part of the Confidence and Convenience 2 package, which is a $1,745 option, this tester comes with the HD Surround Vision camera system. A 360 camera system is always a good thing to have, and it'll make it easier for you to park in very tight spaces. And if Chevy's listening right now, I think it would be awesome if the back button became the dedicated camera button. It would be much more convenient rather than finding the icon on the screen. So I'm going to give the technology of the Chevy Equinox a rating of 8 out of 10 because there's a lot of great safety and creature comfort tech features in here. One of the things that this Equinox is missing, though, is a more attractive instrument cluster. More and more car companies are offering digital instrument clusters which look more modern, and I sort of wish that the top Premier trim of the Equinox had that feature. Now let's move on to the power department. All Equinoxes are equipped with a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine. This tiny 4-cylinder is making 175 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque. 10 to 15 years ago, it would have been crazy to think that a small engine like that could make that much power. But this is not a small car either, and all of those tech and safety features will weigh this thing down, which means that this Equinox will do a 0 to 60 time somewhere in the 9-second range. That is perfectly reasonable for a commuter car, but you'll find it to be pretty limiting when you're trying to make that last-minute pass or going up on an on-ramp, especially when you're loaded down with passengers and cargo. The 6-speed automatic transmission feels appropriate for this engine, and it's going to work well for most driving situations. But just like in those special situations, the transmission feels sluggish to downshift. Fuel economy is good at 24 city, 30 highway, and 26 miles per gallon combined. If you get the front-wheel drive version, it's going to do 1 or 2 miles per gallon better across the board. So I'll give the power a rating of 6 out of 10 because this is a perfectly good power plant for a commuter, but not much beyond that. Start filling this car with a bunch of passengers on their stuff, and this thing is going to feel really slow. Lastly, let's talk about the driving experience of the Chevy Equinox. First, the ride quality is actually not too bad for this compact crossover. The ride is smooth for most road surfaces. I'm glad the Premier trim comes with these 18-inch wheels because they give a bit more compliance in the ride and will keep the tire replacement costs manageable. Handling isn't too bad either. The steering feels good for this size crossover, and there's also good feedback. However, it's still not a very exciting car to drive, which is very par for the course for a non-performance oriented compact crossover. But I imagine for most people who's interested in this car, the safety features, fuel economy, and the creature comforts are much more important things than the 0 to 60 times and driving thrills. But still, I'm giving this Equinox a driving experience rating of 6 out of 10 because it's not really all that memorable. So, To wrap up all of the scores, I'm giving this Equinox an overall rating of 6 out of 10. I think there's a lot of really nice technology and safety features in here, but the lackluster engine, forgetful driving experience, and a really bland exterior design doesn't make this a compelling choice, especially considering how crowded this field really is. I've driven a lot of compact crossovers in this channel, and if you want to see for yourself, check out the links down below in the description box. Let's wrap this review up right there. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. If you've learned something from this video, please consider hitting that like, subscribe, and also that notification bell button so that you can be notified anytime I make a new video. Let's wrap it up right there. My name is Hanson, and this has been the 2023 Chevy Equinox Premier with all-wheel drive, and I'll see you in the next one.